Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Hopping right on into today's content. Today we're going to be talking about the best Pantera riffs. So with the reunion tour well on its way now, with Pantera coming back here at the end of 2022, Pantera's really hot, man, and you know, it's a hot topic right now, for better or for worse. I think for the better. But yeah, dude, I want to celebrate the band and celebrate the legacy of Pantera and just talk about my favorite riffs from the band, alright? If you want to play along, leave your favorite riffs and favorite songs down below in the comment section, and I'll meet you down below and we'll discuss all things Pantera. And last but not least, subscribe to this channel before you leave, alright? This channel's dope, and yeah, man, I would appreciate it if you stuck around, alright? So that being said, let's jam, alright? So unfortunately, with how copyright laws work and just with YouTube and all that stuff, I have to change something with these riffs, whether it's the tuning or the notes, ever so slightly. That way, you know, I don't get dinged for copyright infringement. So that's kind of a bummer, but you guys will get the gist, alright? So with that being said, man, let's start off this party with a bang, and I'll start, alright? Huh! Hell yeah, dude. The outro riff from Hollow off of Vulgar Display of Power, I think is an underrated riff. But so much, you know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense, but I think Hollow is just so underrated by a landslide. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, dude, when Hollow kicks in at the end there, you know, because the intro and the beginning of the song is kind of like a, I don't know, like a sad song and kind of a somber topic. And the song in general is a sad song, but just when it kicks in at the end there, and I guess Vinny or whomever's like, you know, off in the distance going, huh, and it just kicks in at the end on the outro, man. It's just so sick, dude. So yeah, man, Hollow, I love that riff so much, and it's just so fun to play, dude. Just so rad, dude. So my next favorite riff is the outro. Again, a big fan of outros, apparently. The outro riff from Domination. And, you know, this is arguably one of the earliest breakdown riffs of all time. Yeah, dude, just so simple. One of the easiest riffs anybody can learn. It's like basically one or two chords. And yeah, it just goes like this. Whoa! Yeah, dude, Domination, Domination is just a showcase on all fronts. I mean, just from how fast it is, the solo, the drum work. I mean, it's just awesome. But that outro and that breakdown, especially after the crescendo of that wicked solo, it just hits so hard. I mean, the Live in Moscow concert from '91 is just a perfect example of what I'm talking about, man. That song is just so sick. Just fuck it, hey, like, it's so rad, dude, right? So yeah, the outro from Domination I love so much. All right, let's go to 1992, shall we? I'm using this beautiful T.W. Smith guitar tuned to D standard, and just if you guys haven't checked out a video with this guitar, just a little side note here, this guitar is absolutely amazing. Plays great, amazing neck profile, so comfortable, and just it looks like out of this world. Look at that quill. Anyway, dude, staying on topic, let's go to 1992, the year I was born. Yeah, dude, a new level. I mean, just what an awesome, just like, what a sick opener with that snare hit in the beginning, and then when they just kick in, like, and just that rhythm section of Pantera, man, whew, what a monster of a rhythm section, right? Obviously, I mean, not breaking any news here. Everybody knows how tight that rhythm section is. But yeah, dude, I love when Dime really digs in with the palm mutes, like halfway through that riff. It's just so unbelievably heavy. It's just so sick, dude. So yeah, man, not really going out on a limb with a new level. I mean, that's obviously one of the best riffs, but yeah, dude, just such a cool, simple, just heavy, just chromatic walk up the fretboard. And speaking of walk, spoiler alert. But yeah, dude, I just love how it's just so simple. No music theory really involved. Just like at its core, it's just going just. But when you put it through the Pantera formula and, you know, shake it around and, you know, what comes out is just the absolute sickest riff of all time. It's just the simplest riffs are arguably the best. And Pantera is just, you know, an amazing act, but you know, they're incredible musicians and they can shred your face off and they can play like nobody's business, but they can also do the complete opposite, which is arguably harder at times, which is play simple riffs and simple phrasing that makes it even cooler. So yeah, New Level is just an embodiment of all that. Sticking with 1992, come on now, let's go to the arguably the most cliche riff, in my opinion, for Pantera fans, and that's probably the first Pantera song I ever heard, and it goes as follows. Dude, come on, man. Like, talking about simplicity, all it is just a minor second with a bend. And a little music theory here, minor second is just a half step apart from your original tonic note, your root note. So if you think of like songs like Jaws, the Jaws theme song, you know, you're supposed to be like freaking out and you're supposed to be kind of feeling really tense when the shark's coming. Like when that's playing in the background, you know, evil is afoot. Trouble's lurking in the waters. Well, you put that same kind of approach to a riff and you just put some, you know, put the Texas special, Texas metal bend on it and give it that ZZ Top flair, but through the Pantera formula, it creates arguably the best riff of all time. In my opinion, if I had to pick, you know, off the top of my head, or if my life depended on it, whatever, if I had to pick one riff that is the embodiment of the coolest metal riff of all time, I really sincerely think I would pick Walk by Pantera, just because of how simple it is, man. Like, and I believe Dime does the upstrokes a lot. He's a big fan, like I know in Cowboys from Hell, like he does a lot of the upstrokes, and that gives it that kind of Dime feel. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I would love to be educated if I'm incorrect, but I believe Dimebag does this riff and does a lot of upstrokes, and you know you can kind of see that like in the Walk music video, I believe, where there's a clip of him playing that with a tobacco burst ML. But yeah, dude, like that. So unbelievably simple, yet so heavy. And anytime I teach lessons privately with people, in this day and age with the internet, everybody's trying to impress everybody by shredding your face off. I always reference Walk by Pantera in terms of like, you don't need to play a million notes to impress somebody, to get somebody moving and feeling your message, you know, in the form of music. And I always view Walk by Pantera as like the equivalent of like a Martin Luther King speech. I always give this metaphor. You know, you can shred your face off and, you know, play a million notes, you know, a million miles an hour, million notes per second, but are you actually saying something? So it's like, that to me is like the equivalent of like somebody like an auctioneer saying like, 200, 250,000, can I get 300, 350, 300, 400. It's like, yeah, it's really impressive. You're saying a lot of words, but are you really even saying anything? Versus like a Martin Luther King speech that has dynamics and pauses and has inflections and crescendos and peaks and valleys. And it's, you know, sometimes it's the things that he doesn't say and letting his speech breathe, letting his message take a second to just like hit home and have an impact. I kind of view that with something like as simple as Walk by Pantera, where it's like sometimes it's the notes you don't play that really hit home. You know, that riff is so iconic because of how simple it is and how there's space and how there's gaps and how there's, you know, just dynamics and feel. I love that so much. I mean, listen to me, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. So that may be a little bit out there, and a little side tangent on riff writing and stuff like that, but I really just sincerely love this riff so much and how much you can take from a riff like this and just how much you can learn from it and how much I can, you know, teach you guys and teach anybody I teach privately with lessons. So obviously I've spent a lot of time talking about Walk because I love it so much. So yeah, dude, one of my favorite Pantera riffs for sure. All right, now moving to what is probably my personal favorite album from Pantera, and that is The Great Southern Trendkill. We got 2 more riffs to talk about, both from this album. I love this album so much. It's like really trippy, really eerie, ambient, kind of almost gross in a way. Like it's kind of gnarly. It's definitely different than the first 3 big albums that they came out with. But yeah, dude, I love this album so much because of all the mood and the weird vibes going on with this album. But arguably the heaviest riff and one of the most common, I don't know. Anyway, let's just start playing. It goes like this. Yeah, dude, Drag the Waters, man. I love that riff so much, dude. Thing I love about it is, again, how simple it is. All it is just a minor second, similar to Walk, and then it just has a cool bend and a pinch harmonic in there. But then I really, really love the verse where it has got that kind of swing to it, that shuffle to it, that kind of Texas feel to it. Very Stevie-esque, like just very atonal, percussive. You know, there's no notes being played there. It's just got that feel, got that swing, got that shuffle. Very Pride and Joy-esque. You know what I mean? I love that. You can totally hear just like the Texas influence, the Texas blues in Pantera's music. It's just so rad, dude, right? Got this heavy, ignorant, C-sharp standard riffs with some crazy metal vocals over top of it, but it's still got that swing, got that ZZ Top feel. It's so cool, dude. Anyway, man, yeah, Drag the Waters is just such a sick riff, and just, I love it, dude, you know? Ain't got too much else to say to it about it. I just love it, and I just love it's got that minor second, very similar to Walk, you know? Just the first fret, open first fret, minor second, dude. Just such a cool little, you know, simple idea, and it's, again, similar to Walk. It's the notes that you don't play that kind of really hit home, you know? So I love it. And last but not least, everybody, my favorite riff by Pantera by a landslide. No comparison, not even close with, you know, Runner Up or whatever. None of these are really in order except for this one. This is definitely my favorite and arguably the best. I would say definitively the best Pantera riff. And it's not even that heavy. It's just so full of emotion, and with the overall just trajectory and story and saga of Pantera, it's just incredibly sad sounding. And it's just like, to me, it almost sums up the whole legacy of Pantera. I don't know if that may be a little bit out there of a thought process, but it just has so much emotion to it. And it goes like this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I think Floods by Pantera, that outro solo, is the best riff, bar none, by Pantera. I think the solo in general is like arguably my favorite solo of all time. It's like up there with like Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Floods has just so much emotion to it. And like I was saying, man, it kind of just sums up to me personally like the overall story arc of the Pantera legacy and the Abbott brothers. It's just such a sad piece of music and such a beautiful piece of music. It like wells tears, you know what I mean? Like it's just so gnarly in the best way possible. But just moving around that sus2 shape, not only in the solo, I mean, because the solo, it's like, you know, it does that for the first part of the solo. It's just so beautiful, man. Fuck, it's so beautiful. I love it, man. So out of all of the riffs that I talked about today, the Floods, Pantera, outro, solo, and kind of just shape, the sus2 shape moved around the fretboard is definitely the best Pantera riff. And I think what's kind of cool, correct me if I'm wrong, I stand to be, or what's that, like I wish to be corrected or whatever, you know, like I stand to be corrected or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But I believe there's old school video. I believe I've seen it where like Dime's playing the outro of Floods, like in the club days when he has the big giant hair and like is a skinny little kid. But it's just crazy how like it didn't see the light of day till the Great Southern Trendkill, and it just so happens that like he had that masterpiece in his back pocket, but it didn't come out to the public until 1996 or whatever that was, whenever that album came out. So yeah, man, just God, I could talk all day about Floods. I love it so much. By far my favorite Pantera song, and it just has so much emotion to it, and it's just such a beautiful piece of music. So everybody, those are my thoughts and opinions on the best Pantera riffs. What do you guys think of my opinions? Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll meet you down below in the comments, and we'll talk all things Pantera, celebrate the life and legacy of the Abbott brothers, as well as the other two members, Rex and Phil, and celebrate this new kind of tribute, man. It's kind of cool, dude. I think it's super rad, and yeah, man, I just love music, and I love to celebrate all things that make people happy, you know? So with that being said, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Be sure to subscribe again. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay metal. See you guys next time. Later.